Once they come out, I'll let you know. And you guys did clip, correct?
Yeah, we did. Their right wing clipped our nose and the cockpit. Is damage to our windscreen and some of our springs. They're just running still. We'd like to shut it down when we can.
Endeavor 5155, we have one injury on board.
Roger.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another VASAviation video. It's November the 7th, 2025, and finally we have the NTSB preliminary report for the collision occurred at LaGuardia on October the 1st, 2025 between two Endeavor CRJs, November 902 X-ray Juliet and November 480 Papa X-ray. On October 1st, 2025 at about 21:56 local time, both Endeavor CRJs collided at the intersection of taxiways Mike and Alpha at LaGuardia Airport. There were two pilots, two flight attendants, and 28 passengers on board Flight 5155, and one of those flight attendants sustained minor injuries. There were no injuries to the two pilots, two flight attendants, and 57 passengers on board Flight Endeavor 5047. The crew and passengers of both airplanes were deplaned via the cabin main stairs and bused to the terminal. Endeavor Air Flight 5155 was a scheduled domestic passenger flight operating from LaGuardia to Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport, and Endeavor Flight 5047 was a scheduled domestic passenger flight from Charlotte inbound to LaGuardia. Flight 5047 landed at LaGuardia and was taxiing to the terminal on taxiway Bravo, and Endeavor 5155 had pushed back from the gate and was taxiing on taxiway Alpha. Endeavor 5047 exited taxiway Bravo and had turned into taxiway Mike when it was struck by the right wing of Endeavor 5155 at the intersection of taxiways Mike and Alpha. The following timeline on the Table 1 that we're going to see here in just a moment was constructed from certified ATC audio recordings and automatic dependent surveillance broadcast, or the ADSB data provided by the FAA. All times are local times, and the graphical depictions of the movements of Flight 5047 and 5155 leading up to the collision are shown in figure number 1. Remember that the audio that I use on my videos is coming from live ATC, and those are recorded on amateur radio receivers, so the quality might not be the same as the FAA has, and also the animation that I created for that video was based on ADSB data, but disclaimer, it's just manually edited myself. Endeavor Air 5047 landed on runway 4 and exited the runway on taxiway Golf. LaGuardia ground controller instructed that flight to taxi on taxiway Bravo to taxiway Mike and onto lane 12 into the gate area, which would require Flight 5047 to cross taxiway Alpha from Mike. The crew of that flight subsequently read back the ground controller instruction.
Air 5047, LaGuardia on taxi Bravo Mike to lane 12.
Bravo Mike, lane 12, Endeavor 5047.
The crew of Endeavor Air 5155 contacted the ground controller and stated that they were in lane 17 of the gate area. The ground controller subsequently instructed Flight 5155 to runway 13 via taxiways Alpha to Echo to hold short of runway 4 and to give way to another Endeavor Air airplane at taxiway Mike. The crew of that flight of Endeavor 5155 read back that ground controller's instruction.
Air 5155 ground 13 taxi Alpha Echo hold short of 4 at Mike, give way to company.
Alpha Echo and hold short of 4 at Mike, give way to the company to 13, 751.
At this time, Endeavor 5047 was on taxiway Bravo at the intersection with taxiway Lima and moving towards taxiway Mike. Subsequently, the ground controller provided the crew of Endeavor 5155 a new departure frequency, which the crew of that flight confirmed while they were still located in the gate area.
Endeavor 5155, new departure frequency is 120.8.
Airport surveillance camera videos that captured the collision showed that flight 5047 had turned onto taxiway Mike moving south and Endeavour 5155 moving east on taxiway Alpha. And now at this point, I think this is a mistake, a typo on the report, because actually flight 5155, while taxiing on taxiway Alpha, if we look at the airport diagram and moving in that direction, Endeavour 5155 was not moving eastbound. Actually, they were taxiing on Alpha, but kind of westbound, northwestbound. Now, Endeavour 5047 abruptly stopped as it approached the intersection with taxiway Alpha, and about 2 seconds later, the right wing of flight 5155 collided with the nose of flight 5047. Endeavour 5047 appeared to turn to the left about 1 second prior to the collision. Now, these are the key transmissions between the ground controller, the crew of Endeavour 5047, and the crew of Flight 5155, as we have just reviewed with the actual ATC audio provided by Live ATC again, and my captions on video, and maybe the animations that I also created for that video. And this is the final and the correct report from the NTSB on that timeline on all those communications.
LaGuardia ground, Endeavour 5047, Golf, Bravo.
Endeavour 5047, LaGuardia ground, taxi Bravo Mike to lane 12.
Bravo Mike, lane 12, Endeavour 5047.
Endeavour 5155 ground, 13 taxi Alpha Echo, hold short of 4 at Mike, give way to company.
Alpha Echo and hold short of 4 at Mike, give way to the company to 13, 761.
Endeavour 5155, new departure frequency is 120.8.
Ground, Endeavour 5047, we need trucks on Mike.
Endeavour 5047, say again?
We need trucks on Alpha.
The emergency truck, you said?
Affirm.
We have 2 CRJs on Mike that collided.
Right, stand by.
According to the NTSB in the report, the CVR and FDR, and these are the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder, both black boxes commonly named, from both airplanes were recovered and sent to the NTSB Vehicle Recorder Laboratory in Washington, D.C. for analysis. All 4 recorders were successfully downloaded and captured the accident. Post-accident examination of November 480 Papa X-ray, and this is for the flight Endeavour 5047, found substantial damage to the nose and the captain's windshield. Post-accident examination of the other aircraft, November 902 X-ray Juliet, Endeavour 5155, found substantial damage to the outboard section of the right wing, including separation of the outboard slat, aileron, and wingtip. Post-accident interviews of the flight crews of Flight 5047 revealed that the arrival into LaGuardia was uneventful. The captain of the flight estimated their taxi speed on taxiway Bravo was about 9 knots. The flight crew recalled nothing unusual about the taxi instructions from LaGuardia controller. The captain slowed the airplane to turn to taxiway Mike. The first officer leaned forward to clear the right side of the airplane at that time. As they made the turn onto taxiway Mike, the captain was focused on clearing lane 12 but saw another airplane to his left and brought the airplane to a stop. A few seconds later, the right wing of Endeavour 5155 impacted the nose and windshield of Endeavour 5047, causing substantial damage to both airplanes. Post-accident interviews of the flight crew of Endeavour 5155 revealed that, after pushback from the gate at LaGuardia, both engines were turned on for taxi. The first officer of that flight recalled hearing the full taxi clearance and recalled it was not confusing. The captain of that flight recalled hearing the taxi clearance up to holding short of runway 4 and did not recall hearing the instruction to give way to another Endeavour airplane. That's quite important here. The captain stated he was focused on calculating performance numbers for the landing at Roanoke. Endeavour Air 5155 started its taxi, and while taxiing on taxiway Alpha, the flight crew accomplished the taxi checklist, with the first officer calling out the checklist step and the captain verifying the step. The captain recalled he was looking down into the cockpit to visually verify the airplane trim setting as part of the checklist, and when he looked up, he saw Endeavour 5047 to the right. The captain of Endeavour 5155 stated he attempted to veer left to avoid the other aircraft, and the captain of Endeavour 5047 stated that he applied brakes immediately before the collision. Now, this is the NTSB preliminary report for this accident. This is all we know up to this time officially. The CVRs and FDRs are all four being investigated, and we will have to wait for the final report to know more on this. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.